The village of Hollow Creek was small and forgotten. Nestled deep within a valley, it was shrouded in perpetual twilight. Towering trees pressed close, their branches like skeletal fingers against the fading light. The villagers kept to themselves, their faces etched with a weariness that spoke of generations lost to the encroaching darkness. The heart of the village was a collection of weathered houses, huddled together as if for warmth against the encroaching chill. Their windows, like vacant eyes, stared out into the growing darkness. The silence was heavy, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the distant caw of a crow, a harbinger of ill omen. The villagers whispered of a time before, a time when sunlight dappled the cobblestone streets and children's laughter echoed through the square. But those memories were fading as ephemeral as smoke on the wind, replaced by a growing sense of unease, for in Hollow Creek darkness held dominion. The legend of the Whispering Shadows was as old as Hollow Creek itself. It was a tale whispered around flickering candlelight, a story to frighten children into obedience. But for the adults, it was a chilling reality. When the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows stretched long and gnarled, the whispers began. They slithered through the undergrowth, hissed through the trees, and swirled around the feet of anyone foolish enough to be caught outside after dark. They were not the whispers of the wind, the villagers would say, but the voices of lost souls, forever tethered to the shadows, seeking solace and revenge. Some said the whispers were harmless, mere echoes of a forgotten past. Others claimed they could lure unsuspecting souls astray, drawing them deeper into the woods, never to be seen again. But all agreed on one thing: to heed the whispers was to invite madness and despair. Ilara was different. While other children cowered at the mention of the Whispering Shadows, her eyes sparkled with a mixture of fear and fascination. She was a child of the village, yes, but something within her yearned to break free from the suffocating grip of fear that held Hollow Creek captive. One night, as the whispers began their nightly lament, Ilara made a decision. Armed with nothing but a flickering lantern and a heart pounding with a mixture of trepidation and excitement, she stepped out into the night. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, and a cold wind tugged at her cloak as if trying to pull her back from the precipice of a terrible mistake. Ignoring the whispers that seemed to rise from the very ground beneath her feet, Ilara ventured beyond the safety of the village, her lantern casting dancing shadows that stretched and contorted like phantoms in the darkness. She told herself it was just the wind, just the trees, but a primal fear gnawed at the edges of her courage. Deeper and deeper Ilara ventured, the trees closing in above her like a cage of gnarled branches. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, swirling around her like a chorus of the damned. "Turn back," they hissed. "Leave this place." She stumbled into a clearing, bathed in an unnatural light. In the centre stood an ancient altar, carved with strange symbols that seemed to writhe and shift in the flickering light of her lantern. As Ilara approached, she saw that the shadows surrounding the altar were not cast by the trees, but by figures, their forms indistinct, their eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. Panic surged through Ilara. These were not just whispers, not just figments of a collective nightmare. These were the lost souls, trapped within the shadows, their voices a symphony of despair and longing. They reached for her, their cold, spectral fingers brushing against her skin, and Ilara screamed, a sound swallowed by the encroaching darkness. The next morning, the villagers found Ilara's lantern lying on the edge of the forest, its flame extinguished. Of Ilara there was no sign. But that night, as the whispers began anew, a new shadow joined the throng, A young girl with a lantern, her face forever frozen in an expression of terror and despair, doomed to wander the darkness, forever listening to the whispers of the lost.